What if the moment you were supposed to meet your newborn daughter was the moment you died? My name is Sarah Miriam Cohen. I was 32, Jewish, and on May 7, 2024, I bled out on the delivery table. One moment, I was a teacher, a wife, an expectant mother in our new home in Westchester. The next, I was gone. But what I saw, who I met, and the messages I was given from the other side, particularly about Israel and faiths I never thought would intersect with mine, have shattered and rebuilt my understanding of everything. This isn't just a story of nearly dying, it's a story of what I learned when I did, and the urgent truths I was sent back to share. Stay with me because what was revealed could change how you see the world. Life felt perfect. Daniel, my husband, and I had been married for 5 wonderful years. We were so incredibly excited, anxiously awaiting our first child, a daughter. I loved my job as an elementary school teacher, and we just settled into our very first home a few months prior. Everything was unfolding just as we dreamed. My Jewish upbringing in a conservative family in Westchester had given me a strong sense of identity and community, and we were ready to share that with our growing family. Then came May 7th. The labor started normally, everything progressing as expected. The doctors were calm, Daniel was by my side, a pillar of strength and excitement. But then a shift. A shadow fell over the room. I heard the word hemorrhage. Suddenly the calm shattered. Nurses were rushing, their voices urgent. A flurry of activity around me. An unbearable pain ripped through me, a pain I can't even describe. And then nothing. Just silence. The frantic beeping of machines, the shouting, Daniel's agonized cries, it all just faded into a profound, echoing quiet. My perfect world had, in an instant, ceased to exist. One moment, that excruciating pain, the chaos of the delivery room. The next, I was floating above my own body. I could see everything with a clarity that was surreal. The doctors working frantically, their faces grim. Daniel, his face a mask of horror, being gently pulled out of the room. Blood, so much blood. My blood everywhere. But the strangest thing? I felt no pain. No fear. Only this profound, inexplicable calm. It was as if I was an observer to a very dramatic play, detached, serene. I heard a doctor's voice, distant, "We're losing her." And I thought, with a strange detachment, this can't be happening. Not now. Not when my baby needs me. Then I felt a gentle pull. Not upwards, not through a tunnel like you often hear about. It was more like being drawn softly, inexorably, through a veil. One moment, the sterile, panicked reality of the hospital room. The next, I was somewhere else. A place bathed in light. A light so intensely brilliant it should have seared my eyes, but it didn't. It was welcoming, embracing. It felt like home. A home I'd never known yet instantly recognized. The air itself shimmered with colors I'd never seen, colors that simply don't exist on Earth. Every breath, though I wasn't physically breathing, filled me with a sense of life, a vitality more real, more potent than anything I'd ever experienced in my earthly existence. It was a peace that surpassed all understanding, a belonging so complete it erased every worry I'd ever had. And then I saw him. Standing before me, radiating a love so powerful, so unconditional, it would have knocked me to the ground if I still possessed a physical body. It was Jesus. But not the pale, solemn figure from church paintings or stained glass windows. This was a man, vibrant, with deep, kind eyes that seemed to hold centuries of wisdom, and a smile that knew every part of me, every joy, every hidden sin, every lingering doubt. I was utterly confused, shocked. But I'm Jewish, I whispered, though the words weren't spoken, more like a thought projected. He smiled, and his voice wasn't just heard, it was felt, resonating deep within my soul. I know who you are, Sarah. I've always known you. In that instant, every doubt I'd ever harbored about God, about religion, about my purpose, it all just melted away in the sheer force of his presence. Nothing else mattered. I felt known, truly, completely known for the very first time. But this doesn't make sense, my thoughts raced. We're told you're not for us, that you're not the Messiah. And yet here I am, he said gently. Your people were looking for a political savior, someone to overthrow Rome. They missed that I came first to save souls, not nations. But I never stopped loving the children of Abraham. A strange mix of comfort and utter bewilderment washed over me. So, Christianity is right? All this time. Jesus shook his head, a profound sadness in his eyes. No religion has it all right, Sarah. Not Judaism, not Christianity, not Islam. They've all, in their own ways, twisted my words for power, for control, for their own purposes. This shocked me more than anything. I'd expected an affirmation of one over the others. What matters is the heart, he continued, his gaze piercing. I see hearts, not labels. And I have watched my precious Jewish people suffer through centuries of persecution, much of it done falsely, tragically, in my name. Tears, or the spiritual equivalent, welled up. The Holocaust, I whispered, the word a shard of pain. His face filled with a sorrow so immense it broke my spiritual heart. One of humanity's darkest hours, he affirmed, done by those who claimed to know me yet never did. Come, he said, and gently took my hand. Instantly we were walking through a garden unlike anything on earth. The colors were hyper-vibrant, the air itself seemed alive, humming with a gentle energy. I have something to show you. Before me, scenes began to play out, like movies but infinitely more real, more immersive. I saw Israel. I recognized Jerusalem, the Western Wall. But it wasn't the Israel of today. Something was different. What you're seeing, Jesus explained, his voice now tinged with seriousness, is what's coming. The world doesn't understand my plans for Israel, for my chosen people. The scene shifted. I saw conflict, terrible conflict. Missiles, destruction, people running in fear. My heart ached. Then the images changed again. I saw peace emerging, but not in the way anyone expected. The current leaders of Israel, Jesus said, his tone grave, have strayed from their path. Benjamin Netanyahu follows the plans of men, not of God. I was stunned to hear him speak so directly, so politically, about a leader I had, in many ways, supported. He thinks he's protecting my people, but he's being guided by pride, Jesus continued. The true protection of Israel will come when hearts turn back to me. All hearts. But he's defending us. I argued, surprised at my own audacity, debating with Jesus. The attacks, the threats. Israel needs strong leadership. What Israel needs, Jesus replied, his eyes holding mine, is to remember who they are. Not just a nation among nations, but my light to the world. Netanyahu chooses weapons over wisdom, walls over welcome. You're saying Israel shouldn't defend itself? I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I'm saying there's a difference between defense and vengeance, between justice and cruelty. How many Palestinian children have died, Sarah? Do you think I don't weep for them too? I had no answer. I'd always tried to avoid thinking about those casualties, the other side of the conflict. Both sides have blood on their hands, Jesus continued. Both claim to serve God while ignoring his commands to care for the stranger, the widow, the orphan. Then the scene changed again, and I saw something that made me gasp. I saw Donald Trump, standing with Israeli and Arab leaders, signing some kind of peace agreement. Many mock this man, Jesus said, but he will be used to bring about my purposes for Israel. Not because he understands them, but because I can work through anyone. Trump. I almost laughed. He's so controversial. Many Jews don't trust him. And yet, Jesus said, he will accomplish what others could not. Not because of his righteousness. He too is flawed, as all humans are, but because he doesn't play by the old rules. He will broker a peace that seems impossible. When he returns to power, during his second term, it will shock the world. I didn't know what to think. Everything I'd ever been taught was being turned on its head. Jesus here, talking about Israel with such profound love, such deep concern, yet challenging every preconceived notion I held. There's something else you need to understand, Jesus said, his face serious again. The evangelical Christians who blindly support everything Israel does, they misunderstand my plans too. They use Israel as a pawn in their end times prophecies without truly loving the Jewish people for who they are. I was stunned. So much complexity, so many layers I'd never considered. So who's right then? I asked, desperate for clarity. Those who choose love over hatred, mercy over sacrifice, peace over power, his eyes seem to look through time itself. The greatest supporters of Israel will be those who hold her to a higher standard, precisely because they truly believe in her divine purpose. The shock will come, he said, his voice resonating with a gentle power, when my people recognize me. When the veil lifts, Sarah. It's beginning already. He showed me scenes of Jewish people around the world, rabbis, soldiers, ordinary men and women, having dreams and visions, questioning, searching, finding him. I'm already appearing to many in Israel, he told me. Rabbis, soldiers, ordinary people. They're seeing me in dreams. Some reject it, resist it, but others are beginning to question everything they've been taught. That will cause chaos, I said, thinking of the profound destabilization such a revelation would bring to my community, to my world. Yes, he nodded, a soft understanding in his eyes. But new birth always comes with pain. This is why you're here, Sarah, Jesus said, his gaze holding mine. To witness this and to bring back this message. But I'm nobody, I stammered, overwhelmed. I'm just a teacher, a new mom, who would believe me? He smiled again, that all-knowing, all-loving smile, and touched my forehead. In that instant, I felt his love, pure and unconditional, pour through me like a warm, cleansing river. You are mine, he said simply. That's all that matters. Your testimony will reach those it needs to reach. Then he showed me my daughter. My beautiful baby girl, the one I hadn't even held yet. She was healthy, crying strongly in the arms of a nurse. Daniel was there, his face torn between the pure joy of her birth and the utter devastation of what was happening to me. My heart ached with a love so fierce it was a physical sensation, even in that non-physical state. Before you return, Jesus said, I want to show you one more thing. The scene shifted. I saw religious leaders, rabbis, pastors, imams, gathered not in conflict, but in respectful, earnest conversation. This too is coming, Jesus said. A time when the walls between religions begin to crumble, when my followers stop fighting about who owns me and start living as I taught. But that seems impossible, I breathed. The divisions are so deep. With men it is impossible, he replied, words I somehow knew were from Scripture. But with God, all things are possible. Then, the most shocking vision of all, the Temple Mount in Jerusalem. And standing there, a new temple, the third temple, which religious Jews have prayed for centuries to be rebuilt. It will be built, Jesus said, sensing my thoughts, but not as a place of animal sacrifice. It will be a house of prayer for all nations. But that's the Dome of the Rock, Al-Aqsa, the most contested piece of real estate on earth. Yes, he said. What seems impossible to men is possible with God. There will be a solution no one has thought of yet. He then showed me a rapid series of events, natural disasters, political upheavals, astounding technological breakthroughs that would reshape the world in the coming years. I saw America, deeply divided, then somehow miraculously finding a path to healing. I saw climate changes rendering parts of the Middle East unlivable, saved only by new technologies pioneered by Israel. I saw discoveries in Jerusalem that would shake the very foundations of all three Abrahamic religions. The world is entering birth pangs, Jesus explained. Painful, yes, but necessary for new life to emerge. Some has already begun. Some will unfold over the next 7 years. By 2030, nothing will be the same. He turned to me, his face more serious than before. Sarah, you must tell them something else. Tell them that the greatest threat to humanity isn't climate change, or nuclear war, or economic collapse. It's spiritual blindness. People who think they're serving God while actually serving their own power and prejudice. That'll make a lot of people angry, I said, a knot of apprehension forming. Truth often does, he replied simply. But it also sets free those who are ready to hear it. He placed his hand over my heart. Your rabbi will reject your story. Your family will worry about your mental health. Christians will try to claim you as proof they were right all along. Muslims will say you had a hallucination. Each will try to fit your experience into their box. What should I say to them? I asked, feeling small. Tell them I am bigger than their boxes. Tell them I love them too much to be confined to who they think I am. He showed me specific individuals whose lives my story would touch. Their faces, their struggles. It was overwhelming. She needs her mother, Jesus said gently, looking back at the image of my baby. And the world needs your story. I didn't want to go back. How could I leave this perfect peace, this all-encompassing love? It was everything I'd ever yearned for without even knowing it. Please, I begged, let me stay with you. Sarah, he said, and the way he spoke my name held such tenderness it broke something open inside me. I understand your reluctance. Heaven is home. But your mission isn't finished. Will I see you again? I asked, a sudden, desperate fear of losing his presence gripping me. I will never leave you, he promised. Not for a moment. You won't see me as clearly as you do now, but I'll be with you. When you pray, I'll hear. When you speak of what you've seen, I'll give you the words. He took my face in his hands. Your time will come, Sarah. But not yet. Go back. Tell them what you've seen. Tell them about my love for Israel. Tell them the truth that will shock many. I never stopped loving my first chosen people. I never will. Will I remember all this? Will I find the words? I will help you, he promised. And one more thing, don't let them silence you. Not your community, not religious authorities, not anyone. This testimony is your purpose now. Even if it costs me everything? I asked, a sudden fear gripping me. Especially then, he said gently. Now go. Before I could utter another word, I felt a violent, wrenching pull. The peace shattered. The light faded. Pain, raw and overwhelming, rushed back in like a tidal wave. I gasped, choking on the breathing tube lodged in my throat. Beeping machines. Shouting. She's back. We've got a rhythm. My eyes flew open to blinding hospital lights. Doctors and nurses surrounded me, their faces a mixture of stark shock and profound relief. One nurse was openly crying, another quickly crossed herself. "You were gone for 9 minutes, Mrs. Cohen," the doctor told me later, his voice clinical but his eyes wide. "Clinically dead. We tried everything. And then, your heart just started beating again. We can't explain it." When I was stable enough, they brought my daughter to me. They placed her tiny warm body on my chest. Hannah. We named her Hannah, which means grace in Hebrew. Because that's what we'd been given. A second chance. Grace I felt I didn't deserve, yet had received in abundance. Daniel couldn't stop touching my face, my hands, as if to reassure himself I was really truly there. The next few days were a blur of tests, visitors, tears, and a dawning realization of the magnitude of what I'd experienced. At first I was careful, sharing only the basics, that I'd felt peace, that I'd experienced something. But the full memory was there, crystal clear, sharp, and precise. Unlike many NDE accounts where details fade, mine were etched into my very being. Every word Jesus had spoken, every image he'd shown me. I don't claim to understand global politics or intricate theology. I can only tell you what I was shown, that God's plan for Israel, for all his children, is far bigger and more complex than any political leader, Netanyahu, Trump, anyone. That true peace will come, but through a reconciliation and a heart change that no one currently expects. That the divisions we cling to are not his design. My life, my faith, my understanding of God, it's all been irrevocably altered. Sharing this is terrifying. I know how it sounds. My own rabbi struggled deeply with my story, concerned for my well-being. Some Christian friends initially tried to use it as a gotcha moment, while some in my Jewish community found it deeply unsettling. But the promise Jesus made, that he would help me find the words, that my testimony would reach who it needed to, that's what I hold on to. The fear of judgment is real, but the imperative to speak is stronger. The love I felt, the truths I was shown, they are too important to keep silent. I died on that table. I, a Jewish woman, met the Messiah my people have been waiting for, Yeshua, and he sent me back with a message of love, of unexpected paths to peace, and of a divine plan that transcends our human understanding and religious boxes. He never stopped loving us. His promises to Israel are real, but his heart aches for all suffering, including Palestinian children. What you've heard today is my truth as I lived it. What are your thoughts on this incredible near-death experience? Share your reflections in the comments below. I truly want to understand how this resonates. If this story touched you or made you think, please consider sharing it with others who might find comfort, insight, or perhaps a necessary challenge to their own beliefs. For more profound stories and explorations into what lies beyond, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. The shock isn't just what I saw. It's what's coming. Open your eyes. Watch Israel. Watch for the unexpected.